Hey everyone, so I'm going to actually be making a video here on a controversy that I have seen over, like Instagram and Twitter and stuff, um, over Ninjago Rebooted and Ninjago Possession. I have actually done a video on this right before this, on the same thing. It was really long because there's so much to talk about, but I'm gonna actually try to put it here in a nice, not short, I suppose, but well enough together for you guys just to kind of understand. I'm going to be trying to explain to you guys on why I believe this whole controversy and like which one is more perfect and which one's like horrible. That's kind of what I see. Like every one person sees one as horrible and one sees one as like really perfect. Nothing's wrong with it. I'm gonna point out here, guys, that no Ninjago season is perfect at all. No Ninjago season is horrible at all. Now, I know a lot, both sides. People who love one season and then hate the other one. I don't know why, but I'm going to disable comments in this video though because of the controversy. But I just want to kind of go through here some positives of Ninjago Rebooted and some not so positive, some disadvantages or some bad things about Ninjago Rebooted, and then some good things about Ninjago Possession, and some maybe not so good things about Possession. Because I'm just kind of here to show you guys that both were wonderful seasons, but both had their problems. So I'm going to start out with Ninjago Rebooted here. Ninjago Rebooted, it had been, a nice introduction to Ninjago again after it had, ended. And then it came back, so nice to see it come back again. And a lot of people originally dislike it now because it's like a really, really different thing from what they had from the first few seasons. Something very, very different. It was such a different take. But if you guys think about it, the most recent seasons we've had now since Rebooted came on, they've been very, very different compared to the new seasons or the older seasons as well. So I don't exactly understand that, but I felt that it was such a nice way to introduce the season again, and it was a nice way to also see the golden weapons again. The arc of the Overlord story, it was kind of a nice way to see him one final time try to go at the ninja and take over Ninjago and stuff, see his villain and his character kind of evolve a little bit more, since he only came halfway through season 2. Now, another thing I kind of liked with Ninjago Rebooted was it was different. We can't have the same thing with Ninjago because it's just gonna get boring. That's my opinion. It just seems like it'll get boring over time. You need something different with a show, or else it will get boring. Now, the first 2 seasons were wonderful, but I'm just saying it would have gotten boring, at least for me. Also with Ninjago Rebooted, it kind of went off from the focus on Lloyd, and they actually got to focus on Zane for once. And it was nice to see some focus on another ninja for one time, and I really liked that. And then they've continued to do that here within the newest seasons. So I very liked that it was kind of like the introduction to that. Now, of course, brand new looking vehicles, outfits, and ninja outfits, all that stuff. It was a great addition to the story. It added in different characters and stuff that we still sometimes see today in the Ninjago series. So, like Pixel, we still see her in Zane's head. Cyrus Borg every now and then too. So, we still see some of those characters. And Ninjago Rebooted, it kind of just more focused on the team and Zane, someone more than just Lloyd. So, it was a great addition to the story, but, it's still sidetracked away from the big final battle stuff and all that. So, I was like Lloyd and all that. So, I really liked that. I personally really liked the villain that was in it. The Overlord's arc over to the season 3. It was just a great way to explain his story more. And, Ninja Rebooted did a lot of crazy things. It went to a digital world, space. It did all those weird, crazy things. But a lot of the newer seasons do that too. Which is why I do not understand why people argue that it was so weird and different. I feel like that, all the newer seasons are doing really crazy and different. That's just what Ninjago's doing. That's what it is. So, it's got some really good upsides. And the new villains in it, like the Ninjroids and stuff, very, very unique. And, the name, of course, kind of goes off from what the ninja had called Zane when they first found he was a robot. So, very cool to see that. And it was just a really, really nice introduction back into Ninjago after it had originally planned to be discontinued. So, great way. it's just a really good season. I don't understand why people actually. I see some people really actually dislike it a lot. It did have some of its problems, but it wasn't like horrible. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the best. There's no season that is like, or it wasn't perfect. There's no season that was perfect. But some flaws in Ninjago Rebooted were maybe that it was quite short, and with the 8 episodes, it's kind of what they had to produce. I had actually asked a question to the co-creator, who said that's kind of what the budget was, or that they had to produce. I suppose they said. So they kind of had only had that to go off of, but they only had 8 episodes, so I kind of felt like maybe it was rushed. They didn't explain, they didn't go into the story as much, but it was a really action-packed season, so that's kind of really good too. But I also kind of disliked the Cole and Nia thing. And, Jay and Nia were kind of just the thing, at the end of season 2. It was kind of throughout the first few seasons, that's just what it was. And I feel like they were trying to appeal to the, like, newer viewers and stuff, but, to the viewers. But I just feel like it was not needed. It was unneeded altogether, and they just didn't need it. I also disliked in Ninjago Rebooted that, I don't know. The season, it was not perfect, but it wasn't horrible either. I mean, I also disliked the way it aired, though that is not a way to judge the story in season itself. But it did air very odd. Like 2 episodes every few months. It started in January 2014, ended in November 2014. So that was something that was not that good as well. It also, it just felt rushed. If that's something I have to say bad about Ninjago Rebooted, it did feel really, really rushed. And, I suppose some of the crazy things they did, maybe not people like, but they're still doing crazy things now. So I don't exactly understand how people can argue that compared to some of the newer stuff. I don't know. They're still doing weird, different, crazy stuff. So, but yeah, Ninjago Rebooted, it was a really, really good addition to the story. You take it out of the story, and it's a big chunk of Ninjago story gone. You gotta have it in there to have what we have now, guys. So, yeah, great season. Had its flaws. It had its flaws, and it had its upsides as well. And I felt that it was a really, really great season as well. And not perfect, not bad, but it was just kind of there in the middle too, or not in the middle, but each season is perfect or not perfect, but not the worst or anything like that. They all are good and bad in their own ways. Now, Ninjago Possession, I know a lot of people actually like this one, as well as Ninjago Rebooted too. But with this one, it had the introduction of Moro, and I'm going to go with the upsides here first with this season. It had been a really, really big season to expand. And with like the Realm Crystal and the Realms and stuff, it was a great big season to expand and to the story. And Ninjago with Moro had actually gone, nice and deep, and his story went nice and deep in with Sensei Wu, in his past and stuff, and Moro wanting to be the Green Ninja after he was told that he would have been the Green Ninja, even though he's not. So, that villain, Moro is a very, very cool villain within his story and his ambitions and stuff, what he wanted to do. That is some of the stuff I really, really loved about his character. But, there were also some things I didn't like, but altogether, though, I did feel that it was very, very great there. Again, there was lots of things I didn't like, and there was things I didn't like about Rebooted either. But Ninjago Possession, it was more of a darker feel to the season 2, a darker, more story-filled part of the season or series. And I feel like this was a season that really added a lot to the story. It was not just action-packed either, but it was more of a story-building season. So it added a lot more different things to expand Ninjago's story. But when it did that, though, the realms, it expanded just different ways of villains, and how Ninjago was seen. They did lots of different things with this season. And I also kind of liked, some of the new characters that came into, like Ronin. Ronin was a very, very cool character that came into it. He's really, really great character, and it's always nice to see Ronan come back into the series whenever he does, and it seems like he'll be in Day of the Departed, especially because he's got his own mech now, so I'm almost sure we'll see him. But yeah, Ronan is a very cool character they added in. You know, it's kind of nice to see the ninja again fight without like powers and stuff. You know, just maybe kind of a little bit. They kind of did sneak around without like being ninja again. They kind of did it. You know, they had some really good episodes too, like episode 48, you know, Haunted Temple. It really fit into the Ninjago Haunted season thing. So I really like what they did there too. But this season, it really just expanded Ninjago. And the darker feel to the season 2, the ghosts. Such a unique villain for the ninja to fight, and it's clearly something they've never fought before, something really crazy and different. And of course, you know, with the water, they had to find a way to defeat them, but you know, very, very different, unique. The Realm Crystal, the Tomb of the First Ninjutsu Master, it just had a lot to the story, and you know, to the past, Ninjago's past, and you know, expanding towards future and story and stuff. So they had a lot of story expansion and explanation and stuff. So it was very cool to see that with Ninjago Possession. You know, it didn't feel more rushed like Rebooted was. It just felt like it developed more story. Again though, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't horrible, just like Ninjago Rebooted. Some were more action-packed and some were more story-built. That's just how it is. So I just felt like this season was, Season 5, it was just story-built. And the villain itself, it was a really good villain. And I know, guys, I see some people kind of putting down on, you know, if you love the other season, they're putting down on the other one. That's kind of the argument I'm seeing. I know I have put down on Possession, even some of my posts and stuff. I know I've done wrong on that. That was not right. But, you know, now that I'm seeing this, I'm saying this, I'm just trying to explain to you guys. Now, I actually I love Possession. I love all the Ninjago seasons. And, you know, I just kind of trying to maybe argue for Rebooted. Maybe because it was my favorite season. But, guys, Possession was perfect, or no, wow, it was not perfect, but Rebooted, I could say perfect too, because it was my favorite, but it wasn't perfect. What I meant by perfect was more like it did really, really well, and each season has its great story additions, and yeah, sometimes it's hard to explain the season without saying perfect, because each season does have its really perfect feel or perfect addition to the story, but yet again in the season it still has something wrong. Now in Possession there were lots of different things that were wrong that I felt were wrong, or I didn't like, and that was Moro as well. I also liked his character a lot, but I also didn't. You know, he seemed to get really annoying maybe later on in the season. He was very cool though, like with the concept of possessing Lloyd and stuff, but you know, I personally thought he started to get a little annoying. And I don't know how else to explain it, but he started to get more annoying later on. But yeah. And I also just like the Destiny writers stuff in the Cloud Kingdom, how there were people up there writing the actions of every person in Ninjago. I did not like that. I found that to be weird, like really, really weird. And you know, I'm kind of glad they're not focusing on that stuff anymore, because I did find that to be very, very odd. And yeah, it was really weird. I also, something else I liked about Possession was Nia becoming the water ninja and her becoming a ninja finally. You know, that was very, very awesome. But dislikes again, I also dislike kind of like the water. You know, water being a weakness for ghosts. It kind of just took away some of their spooky, you know, just made them look weaker for me. Made them seem weaker, you know, that water, they touch water and they disappear and they poof away. So that kind of made them, I don't know, less threatening to me, I suppose. But, you know, they were still threatening, of course. But in a way, it just made it seem a little like, really? They're defeated by water? So, I don't know. They had to find something, so... But something also I disliked was Cole becoming a ghost. I have never liked that from the beginning. Hopefully Day of the Departed fixes that, or at least a little bit. It's going to focus on it, of course, with him being a ghost and Sensei Yang, dealing with Sensei Yang, of course. He's the villain of the season, or not season, but TV special. So that'll get more focus again with Cole and the ghost stuff. But Possession, it had a lot of great things. I also didn't like the preeminent, like the mobile realm thing with the preeminent. I didn't really like that. I found that to be very, very weird. Like, how is a realm a creature? I just, that was weird. That was really, really weird for me, especially when they originally showed the preeminent in the cursed realm, when they traveled, like that when Fenwick showed the Ninja of the Realms in the Cloud Kingdom. The preeminent was in the cursed realm. How can the preeminent be in itself? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know how the preeminent, like the creature itself, is the cursed realm. That never made any sense for me, and I found it to be really, really weird. But yeah. I also didn't really like the introduction to the realms too, because it made Ninjago seem so much bigger, and of course that'll help with the story and expansion. But it also, it really made it really went off from what Ninjago was too. So I kind of hope they kind of still focus on some of the stuff they still had within the original seasons and stuff, but also kind of add new stuff, of course. So I hope they don't like completely go off and just do crazy stuff with the realm stuff. I hope they kind of include it in every now and then, like with Skybound. I love Skybound too, and that included the realm stuff. So just a little bit, but not much. So again, Possession. It had a lot of great things, but yeah, it had some downsides too. Just like Ninjago Rebooted, it had some upsides and it had some downsides. The Overlord infecting the systems and stuff, that was really interesting. And it was a great way to just explain more of his story and more of him being a villain. He was only a villain through halfway through season 2. He didn't even get a full season, but Rebooted kind of gave him his full season, his full villain arc, I suppose. Now, I don't know if he could ever make his return again, because we do have villains returning in Day of the Departed. But in the future, even past Day of the Departed, I don't know. But you never know what could happen. Morrow is returning, though, in Day of the Departed. Both seasons. I don't exactly know why there's such a huge argument, but they are both great seasons. They both had upsides and downsides, and I do not understand why people keep arguing about this. Again, I even got involved in the argument. I did state that earlier. I did get involved. I did kind of, I guess you could say, trash. I did argue against Possession a little bit, but that was not right, of course. But it was a great season, guys. Both were great, and I think I was more standing up for Ninjago Rebooted at that time, because the people were like, again, they were like saying one was really bad and one was like perfect. That's what I'm stating here. I was just kind of arguing that too. So, but I hope you guys, I'm going to disable comments because I do not want arguing in the comments, but leave a like or dislike if you liked the video or disliked it. But I felt like I needed to bring attention to this. But what do you, like, I suppose you can't really respond with I may put the comments available eventually. You'd have to wait and see through the comments, but at first I'm going to have them disabled at least. But I feel like this needs to be addressed, and I just hope you guys can kind of realize that, not one is perfect and not one is horrible. They all had upsides, guys, and they all had downsides. I'd really like to just kind of see Slow in the dislike and the complete hate on one season, or the complete adoring one season. You can adore one season, but just realize that all seasons had a great effect to the story, had a big effect on the story, and helped the series in some way. So, Ninjago Rebooted and Ninjago Possession, both wonderful seasons, and I don't exactly understand the whole conflict, but I feel they're both wonderful.